Hey guys, Tetsamaru here, and first off I would like to thank everyone that's subscribed to this channel as well as my original channel for fan subbing videos. This would be both a news video as well as a question video, and sorry that I haven't really uploaded anything to this channel lately, or at all I guess. In my welcoming vid I kind of made it seem that I would be uploading a bunch of vids all at once or something like that. Didn't mean to give off that kind of vibe. First off, as far as news goes, if you guys want to, see how the progress is for the ThoseTouhouGuys, I'll occasionally post up a little update progress on my website. I don't want to give out too much information about it, or really, document every single page that I do, because then that'll be kind of hyping it up way too much anyway. I will be talking about my ThoseTouhouGuys a little bit in this video though, so I guess there'll be kind of like some teasers or spoilers in this vid anyway. As for the real meat of this video though, got a question for you guys. How important is, well, I kind of got two questions, but first off, how important would you say the artwork is for you guys? I guess I'm kind of like my worst my worst critic, because everything I draw I think it just absolutely sucks. So do you guys really want the art to be magnificent or something? Maybe something like this, and damn, I'm not at that level, so maybe this is kind of a bad example, but wow, if I did have that skill level, doing one page will probably take me I don't know, a week to do or something like that. Anyway, there's that, or something like this, and I chose the worst page I could try to find, and as you can see, the art's maybe not that appealing. It's barely in color, but I think the story is good though, and I'm an avid reader of it. I could also say the same thing for the whole Love Sparrow story. Art's I wouldn't really say the greatest, but it's not bad I guess. And even though I say that, I still think my drawings are horrible. So I just want to know, how important is the art for you guys? Would you be fine if it was in black and white? And I do kind of get that when I'm asking right now. It almost seems like I'm trying to justify me not doing extra work just to make it look better. I guess that's kind of a bad precedent or something like that. Not that I'm trying to get out of doing more work for it, but at this point I don't really think my own drawing skills are really high level, so I've done more writing than I have actually drawing, and I actually just really want to get these stories out. But if I would have I'm kind of hesitant just to upload just text, just to make it another fanfic, like the other dozens of Touhou fanfics there are, or just fanfics in general. I would like there to be art, to go along with it. And I guess maybe I could compare it to a light novel, because a light novel does have art as well, but it's not like there's art in every page. It's more like every 10 or 20 pages or something like that. So I just really want to get it out, but I want to make it presentable in some way. I guess if I were to try to make a comparison, take a look at the Touhou games. A lot of people tend to bag on Zun's art for being amateurish or just plain suckage, but I actually like Zun's art. I don't know, I guess it's an acquired taste, which I hear a lot. It's not the best, but I wouldn't call it the worst either. And he's gotten a lot better now, especially with 10 Desires, which is the latest game. I look at the 10 Desires art, and then I compare it to, like, embodiment of Scarlet Devil, and damn, Zun has really come a long way. Like, I didn't even think embodiment of Scarlet Devil sucked in the first place, or heck, even the PC 98 games, which I think is kind of like a different kind of comparison now, because if you were to compare the art between the PC 98 games and the Windows games, it's more than just a shift in art style. It's more like a shift in actual, I guess, wait, that was the word. Yeah, it was like a shift in art style. The art in the PC 98 games was kind of like less chibi, and then in the Windows games, the characters have like more roundish faces and kind of look more childlike, and I guess I want to say younger as well. I guess it kind of depends on per character, but that's kind of vibe I get between the PC 98 art and the Windows art. So, while I would say, I guess objectively, I'm pretty sure my art is better than Zun's art, I can't color for the life of me. So it's definitely going to be in black and white. I can't CG at all. So, just throwing that out there. And my second question is, and this one is kind of a doozy, but kind of like 3 to 4 years ago, this was probably like my first Touhou story that I actually wrote down, and it had original characters in it. Now that's a big thing, and at the time that I was writing it, I didn't really realize it at first because I was just really excited to write my first Touhou story. Granted, I'd barely shown it to anyone at all. It was more just kind of for me. But I made a lot of OC characters for it. That's actually kind of redundant. I made a lot of OCs for it, but I never thought of how the OCs would be, how people would react to the OCs if I actually would have released it on some Touhou board or something like that. And then once I realized it, I basically scrapped the whole project altogether just because of the negative controversy there is about OCs in general, which I always found pretty weird. Well, I guess not that weird, but I always wondered why that's such a problem. Like, you know, if we take Bleach or like Naruto, people make up their own ninjas and their own shinigamis, and for the most part, yeah, there are haters, but they kind of just go by. But with Touhou OCs, it's like people will rage hard about them, and I actually like some of the OCs. I mean, I guess I can understand why people wouldn't like, you know, Mary Sue's and Mary Stu's and things like that. The biggest thing that I see a lot of haters rage about, though, is just how powerful some of the OCs are. Which, come on. Think about how powerful even the top 20 Touhou characters are. The Touhou characters, by canon definition, are already broken. If you want your OC to even be at least as a passable power level compared to the other characters, you're gonna need to at least make them pretty powerful. And just by making them powerful, you're actually putting them on even ground, so you're not even making them stronger than the Touhou characters in the first place. But that's not really the problem that I was having with my OCs anyway. It was just the fact that they were OCs, and I was afraid of how they would be, how people would respond to them. One OC that I am actually kind of confused about is actually Hakure Miko, which is supposedly Reimer's mom. The amount of hate that I've seen this character get is actually not as much as compared to other Touhou OCs. Mitori comes to mind. I've seen a lot of people say Mitori is like a Nitori clone. Yeah, okay, so the name is like one letter difference, but her personality and her abilities is like completely different from Nitori. So what's the problem? I see no resemblance between those two characters at all. But I guess people just need something to rage about, and it's pretty much just the fact that she's an OC. There's also Chen's Shikigami, you know, going with a whole yo dog thing, you know, and I've seen favorable responses to Chen's Shikigami and a lot of hate for Chen's Shikigami. And then don't even get me started on male OCs. Damn. Like, you just don't do that apparently. You don't make a male OC. You know, and that generally goes for just male pairings in the first place. People rage about Rinosuke getting paired up with a Touhou girl, and he's a canon character. So how do you think the OCs feel about it? Especially Rant from the Iron of Yin and Yang. Like, I wonder how many people that raged about Rant and like Reimu pairing actually went and watched the Nico Nico video manga that he was based off of. Because that story is pretty damn good. Like, real good. For any of you that understand Japanese, which is probably going to be like 0 of you that were watching my videos in the first place, you need to go watch the Iron of Yin Yang video manga. It is awesome. You won't regret it. You can quote me on that. But going back to my original problem with my very first story, as well as talking more about Hakurei Miko, I always wondered why she seemed to have kind of gotten a free pass as far as OCs go. Like, she didn't really get that much hate compared to other OCs that I've seen. And I'm just not talking about the English fanbase or the Western fanbase. I mean the Japanese fanbase as well. I've seen some pretty hateful comments about Touhou OCs. But Hakurei Miku almost seems to get just a free pass on that. And I wondered, is it just because she's Reimu's mom? Like, is making a Touhou parent a free pass? Is it just better to make a Touhou parent than to make just a totally original character? Because I've seen a lot of Touhou OCs get bagged on for like being unoriginal and being clones of canon Touhou characters, when I look at like the description of these Touhou OCs and they're actually completely different from the supposed characters that they were carbon copies of. I mean, yeah, so maybe some of the names aren't the most original there is, and maybe that's why people kind of flock to that argument. Like, you know, Meimu and Mitori. Okay, so Meimu is just one little difference from Reimu, and Mitori is one little difference from Nitori. So the creator couldn't come up with a decent name for it. And, you know, Meimu, I can understand, she really is just a stronger version of Reimu. But you could say the same thing for Hakurei Miko. She is just an older, stronger version of Reimu, yet she still seems to get a free pass. And I kind of wonder if maybe my Touhou OCs would get a free pass for that as well, because that's basically what my very first Touhou story was about that I scrapped. And lately I've been thinking about bringing it back, because I worked so hard, I worked so much on it that I'm kind of curious to see what people think about it. You know, ignoring just the haters that hate OCs in general, in any form anyway. It's, for those of you that watch Sakuya's childhood on my channel, this is basically Aya's childhood, and it takes place in the Tengu Society. And for the most part, the two main characters would be Child Aya and Child Momiji, with Nitori being kind of like a secondary character. Nitori is going to be kind of like, she's like at that boundary between main character and secondary character, so she's not going to be as prominent as Momiji and Aya is, but she's still going to show up a lot. And that's where my OCs come in. I made parents for all the characters, and, you know, because they're kids, so I can only go for so long not showing the parents that I would eventually need to show the parents. I just can't make an entire story just on the kids' adventures alone. They're gonna show up sooner or later. Like, you guys remember, for those of you in, I guess, the United States area, I don't know if it was shown everywhere else, but remember Rugrats? like, yeah, there were a lot of episodes made just on the babies, but they actually dedicated a few of those episodes to the parents as well. And that's basically where I'm going to go with my video. I mean, my doujin as well. I dedicated some chapters over towards Aya's, Mobiji's, Nitori's, and whoever else's parents that I made up. So I was wondering, you know, would people still rage about that? You know, I mean, Aya and Momiji are still going to be the main characters, of course. But the parents are going to be important to the story as well, since they're the parents. So they're going to have to show up, and the kids are going to look up to them and things like that. And this video has gone on for a lot longer than I figured it would be. So I'm going to end it here. And this is Tetsamaru, over and out.